To improve is to change. To be perfect is to change often. Winston Churchill. Change can be exciting, or it can also be very scary. But our default setting is to see change as a threat. We don't get excited when we see change coming. Oftentimes we are worried. Oftentimes we are anxious. We find a way to avoid changes. That's our default setting. That's what we are wired to do. It's easy for us to tell others, hey, embrace change. Change is good. That's what we do when we tell others. And in some level within ourselves, we know that we need to do it as well. But that's what talk is cheap. Because talk is easy. Everyone can talk. Because it's so cool when we tell others that, hey, embrace change. Because it feels like, man, it feels like you are knowledgeable. But do you actually embrace change? Do you actually seek change? Do you actually practice it? In theory, we all know that to grow, we need to change. To improve, we need to change more often. But do we actually do it? Because it's easy to talk about change, but is it really easy when it happens? Or when it happens, we only focus on the pain. We only focus on what we lose and forget that what we want, what truly matters to us, is on the other side of change. But so often, we want to stick with the old things, with the familiar. We all want good changes and avoid bad changes. And we avoid the unknowns as much as possible. We have the desire to see good things, but we also have desire to see good changes. But the pain sometimes is so great that we would rather stay the same and ignore the desire to change. It's easier to change when the circumstances are bad. We are more willing to change. But when we are in a good circumstances, do we also embrace change? Do we also want to change? You may ask yourself, hey, it doesn't make sense. If it's good, why would we change? Good compared to what? You know that deep down in your soul, at some level, you want to become more. You want to grow more. You want to improve more. And even though it may be good in the moment, but you know that you want something better. You want something greater. You want greatness. You don't want mediocre, but we are afraid to lose the good. That's why we keep justifying. That's why we keep bullshit ourselves not to change, even when things are bad. Sometimes, and more often than not, we are also worried. We are also afraid to change. Don't believe me? Look at the job thing. You may not be happy with your job, but because you stick with it for so long, you tolerate it for so long, now you justify to yourself that, hey, it's still good. I still get a paycheck. I still call myself as an engineer. I still call myself as a doctor. I still call myself as a teacher. I have some title. At least I have some identity with me. If I quit, if I leave this job, what would I call myself? Where do I get the next paycheck? Even though you know that it's already bad, since you live with it for so long, you tolerate it. You tell yourself it's okay, and you don't even want to change it. You see where am I going with this? Even though it is bad, we still want to hold on to it. We don't want to let it go. The same thing with the relationship thing. You are in a relationship for so long, but deep down in your soul, you know that you need to leave and seek a new relationship. Since you live with it for so long, you tolerate it. Your tolerance becomes higher in your life. You accept quote-unquote bad things in your life for so long, and then you justify it is okay. It's not bad. That's what we do. But deep down, you know that all the excitement, all the love are no longer there. Something is missing in the relationship. But you are so afraid of leaving that relationship because you don't know how long you're gonna be single. You don't know if a next person will be better or not. You don't wanna encounter rejection. You don't want to experience any more failure, any more embarrassment, any more awkward conversation. That's what we are wired to avoid. And that's why we need to change our mindset about change our perspective about change. Our DNA is we are wired to protect everything, and we don't want to let go anything. It's like even for me, I have so many clothes, and I don't want to let any one of them go, even though they are already like 5 years old. And I need to let those old clothes go so that I can have a new one in. But it's not easy to let those old clothes go. So it's already difficult, it's already hard to let something physical go. Could you imagine when it's come to relationships? When it's come to a job, it will be harder. That's why we need to be aware of this, so that when change comes, we are ready for it. We are willing to let it go and accept change. We are wired to avoid pain. But that is the problem, isn't it? Because when we live and used to this pain for so long, even though it is bad, we keep accepting it. We keep tolerating it over and over and over again. And eventually, we give up. That's what many people do. They say, oh, it's okay for now. I will leave it next week. I will leave it next month. And guess what? They don't. They keep tolerating it over and over and over again. And one day, when the universe forces them to change, they don't want to let go. They fight back. And you know what happens when you fight back with the universe, with the nature of life. You then suffer. You then experience even a greater pain. Remember, change is good or bad really depend on your perspective, really depend on your attitude, really depend on how you look at things. So if it's really on your decision, why not choose to see the good in everything? Let's say for a bad change, we always want it to become good. What's about a good change? When a good change happens, it will then become better. But so often, we don't think about it. We only focus on what we lose. So learn to have an open mind. Let go of the belief that you need to hold on to those things. No, you don't need to. Let the good things go so that the better things will come. That is a key point. You need to willing to let good things go so that you can accept better things, greater things. You don't need to know what next. Just have an open mind. Remember, change is inevitable. It will come, and it comes unexpectedly. And when it does, have an open mind. Be excited, because bad things will become good, and good things will become better. And you will become more, grow more. How do I know that? The only way we know that is to have faith. Have faith that everything is working out for you. Have faith that everything happens for you. So accept and embrace change. Don't fight back. Accept it. Accept and embrace it. Hey, I hope you enjoy this episode and got some value out of this. Remember that you have the strength within you to overcome anything in life. And until next time, I want to remind you that you are a fearless, badass warrior. Don't be afraid and move forward with confidence. Thank you.